Welcome back to Easy to Spell, where the name's easy to spell, but we still mess it up. Um, we are back on Aretas. That's last week. The party, our group, made their way through the forest after pretty intense conflict with a tree constructed of this strange razor vine that had been kind of occluding the entire forest around them, puppeteering the corpses of the scouting party you had been sent to find, um, kind of burning away, managing to rescue a few remaining survivors that are, traumatically scarred from a few days of being marionetted to kill their own comrades and those that had been sent to follow and attempt to kill you. Um, you kind of made your way back. Raven, I believe you had in the core of this tree, kind of going through, had found what seemed to be the source of the small portal that this energy had been leaking through, whatever had possessed the tree and given it that semblance of intelligence. A black crystal tablet, having been damaged in the battle. You looked over it a little while, attuned to it, and kind of get a little bit of insight as to what it was able to do. But upon resting, the next morning you had awoken and were unable to speak. You're still in the throes of this madness 2 days later, and as a group, you have come to the edge of Harlan's Landing, breaking free of the forest into the clear-cut hillsides where all of the trees in the surrounding area had been cut down for use in construction of Harlan's Landing, some of them being the previously mentioned ironwood trees, having been harvested and sent back to the mainland, previously being the kind of the main natural resource that's been discovered yet on the continent of Aretas. As you come as a group, as you are making your way kind of towards the town, you can see off in the distance the gates are open, and gathered around the outside of the gates seems to be the majority of settlers that have made Harlan's Landing their home. A couple new faces that you recognize from the ship, the Aegis. It seems as though the guards and other passengers that you had made it to shore with and sent a scouting party back to recover while you were out and about fighting trees and sweet talking pixies, have returned to town, but they are gathered around Governor Renault, kind of at the head of the semicircle, with one figure kind of kneeling on the ground in front of him as you all approach.
What seems to be going on here?
Corin, the scout that kind of had come back with you, yes. Oh, one of these again. There's another criminal in Harlan's Landing. Dealing with. As you get a little bit closer, Governor Renault, you see is standing next to kind of a smoking metal barrel that has a long metal rod poking at it. He's announcing. He is speaking to the man kneeling on the ground in front of him, who, again, as you're getting closer, you see is manacled, hands behind his back, kind of bent, prostrate on the ground, stripped to his waist. Elron, you have been found guilty of selling our secrets and our movements and the details of the trade shipments we've had to the Nalbrans up in Oldenstead. For this, there is but one punishment that we enact upon those who betray our interests here at Harlan's Landing. For this, you are exiled, you are banished, and by the concords of the that we have struck with the surrounding settlements, any of those who bear the brand of a criminal cannot seek respite in any of the settlements. I doubt even your friends up in Oldenstead would dare to break the Concord here. You are banished. And with that, he reaches in, he pulls out the iron from the flames beside him, walking up to the prostrate man, who begins to scream as the brand is pressed into the meat of his forearm. First, pulled away, and then again into the back of his right hand. He collapses to the ground, breath ragged from screaming from having been branded. And as everybody in the circle kind of quietly looks on, most of them eyes down, turning away. No children that need to be shielded, but even, do you see Tarlo Stonemaul? He kind of is covering his eyes and kind of half blocking out the sound of the screams. Just everybody seeming very uncomfortable at this. Governor Renault throws the smoking iron back into that fire beside him and kind of pushes through the crowd, walking back into town.
Well, that doesn't seem very pleasant.
Yeah, you never really get used to that smell, do you?
No.
What happens to Elrond? I assume he's shoved out the front gate. And
He is just kind of left as people start kind of pouring back in. He seems to have passed out from the pain and is just slumped over, hands still manacled behind his back. And people are just kind of walking past him back into the settlement through the gate in the wall. Just leaving him on the ground.
Stay manacled?
Yeah, that's as soon as you bear the brands, it's a similar punishment for anyone who would seek to try to help him. That's from what I understand, a few of the exiles have managed to band up and make somewhat of a safe camp for themselves. That's for his sake. I hope they have. He can make his way to them, and they might be able to help him. They've already been branded and cast out. Best interest of all of us is just to leave him here. And Corin kind of walks past you guys, giving a wide berth to Elrond, the man on the ground. Kind of enters into the city.
well, who do we have to talk to? Is it just the mayor?
Yes, I believe so. Wait to him.
As we walk past, can I look and see if I can see what the brand looks like?
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check. Pretty low DC.
That would be a 22.
22. And do you speak Dwarven by chance?
I don't believe so. No. Or yeah, I do. I
do.
I speak Dwarvish.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do. It's a single rune, and it's in the Dwarvish script, and it just reads criminal. It's one of just the simplified Dwarven runes that's pretty much historically just been used for this purpose of branding criminals. They seem to have really taken to it here in the settlements.
Cool. Thanks.
So how many people are around at this point?
There's a couple stragglers that are kind of watching Elrond, but that's beyond the four of you. Marty and Perrin are still with you. Corin just kind of moved within the gate, kind of getting away from that. There's probably 5 or 6 other people that are kind of milling about outside the gate that haven't gone back in yet.
Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit of water from my water skin, pour some onto my hands, and I'm going to walk up to him and put my hands around his wrist, specifically where the lock is on the manacle. And I'm going to say, "May the gods be with you, my friend." And At that point, I'm actually going to try to cast control water, shape water rather,
Okay.
and I'm going to send it into the lock of the manacle and try to freeze it to break it.
Okay. Let me think about this quick then. Go ahead and make, because you're trying to be stealthy about this, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check first.
17.
Okay. You get it, and you kind of begin casting the spell. This one's for the second check. This is the actual like freezing of water to like in a way to break the lock itself. Make an Arcana check. This is or your spell casting, like a spell casting attack, like
Okay.
you would. This is
Gotcha,
kind of
gotcha.
it'll be a higher DC than just picking the lock, but this kind of represents your kind of finite, like minute control over the workings of your magic.
Ooh, not bad. 23.
Kind of go, and part of hiding this is you kind of like sit him back up on his knees, and his head's kind of rolling. And you kind of shake him a little bit to wake him up, and you hear a tick. And you're not sure if it was successful. You'd actually have to like pull on the manacles to see if they would come off to see if you managed to break the lock.
Okay.
But
I'm
gonna say
actually... Okay.
I was gonna say that's it. You, no, never mind. What was that?
Oh, okay. I'm going to lean in and whisper to him, hold on to your manacle. Make sure it doesn't fall off. I'm not sure if I got it. I'm going to step up and walk away.
As he has remained like kneeling on the ground, kind of recomposing himself.
Can I head
Are
in?
the rest of you just heading in to go speak with Governor Renault?
Yeah.
The governor.
Right. Yeah, governor.
Calling him mayor.
Yeah, mayor, governor, that's all. Kind of a self-selected title more than anything.
Actually, before we get there, I'm just gonna kind of tap everybody on the shoulder and just kind of reveal the tablet and point to it.
What is it? Did somebody fall in the well? Where'd Timmy go?
But I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's saying don't mention the tablet.
I see.
Good job,
All right.
Lassie.
Didn't realize you were the dog whisperer.
So you guys enter the town. Corin kind of rejoins you. He just seemed really uncomfortable with the whole process of Elrond being kicked out. And you're able to make your way up to the estate of Governor Renault. The door's still open. You can see kind of on the inside, not sitting at the desk this time, but with his back to you, kind of just leaning against it. Kind of head down. Renault is there. He turns as you guys enter. Right. That's... Corin, I'll come back. So until... Martin, Perrin, looks like you lot are at least partially successful. Where are the rest?
This is what's left.
Fortunately.
Yes. Sorry to hear that, man. But, I ask what fate fell the rest of your men. Corin kind of looking back over to Marty and Perrin goes, well, they're not feeling particularly talkative, sir, but a few men just fell in the forest to the dangers as kind of is to be expected. Otherwise, there was this great tree that seemed to act with a mind of its own to defend itself and, more importantly, attack us. It's an unpleasant experience, to say the least. Right. You men, get some rest. See Commander Grayson. He'll get you lot taken care of. But the rest of you, 4 of you, I can't thank you enough for at least bringing these 3 men back. Did you encounter this thing that seems to have taken the most of my men?
That we have. So you know the vines that have been growing around here that are really
Right.
sharp?
Yeah, the razor vine. It's they kind of aggressively try to grow over everything that we build.
Right. About how long ago did those start appearing?
They've been here in some way or another since we arrived, but they've begun growing a little bit more aggressively within the last month, I would say.
Makes sense.
They
We
able
Leave.
to- What was that?
couldn't
What's that,
quite hear
Baba?
you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
So whatever you have to add. I'm glad to hear it.
we there was this tree that well, unfortunately it was playing puppet master with the bodies of the scouts. And I know it sounds odd, but it was made out of all the razor vine. And well, there's also another issue. Not just that, which the razor vine is no more. Well, at least that tree.
That's
I mean,
good to hear, at
there could
least.
be more, but the problem lies not necessarily with the razor vine, but these. I guess we call them portals. They're to a
They're like
different realm.
tears in the fabric of reality into different realms.
Exactly what she said.
Seems a little bit like it's something out of a fairy tale. That's did you encounter any of these tears yourselves?
2 of them. One with
Yes.
a fairy themselves in it.
The fairy. These would be tears into the Feywild? Both of the ones you encountered are just
Just one.
First, the second one we encountered at the tree was of a darker nature, much darker. We believe it was the power source behind the vines controlling the bodies of your outs.
yes.
We don't know where that one went, though, right? That could have been the farewell, too.
We just know it was dark.
As the Feywild itself is made up of, I wouldn't say good, but dark and not evil parts as well. They could be leading to a similar place, just much like our own. There are many different aspects to the Feywild.
So,
Tree puppeteering corpses seems to fall within the purview of some of the spirits I've at least heard of in the past.
right.
The
Well,
tree's dead, you said.
the tree's dead, and the portal that was in the bottom of the tree seemed to disappear as well. The problem is well, we heard this voice, and it said that it was angry because we were taking things that didn't belong to us.
And what might you have been taking?
I'm starting to think it's the wood.
Clarify a bit. Yes, we spoke with the fairy in the first tear. She had mentioned that her leader essentially took care of this land and she was tasked with closing these tears. There was somebody that was visiting the Fey realm, creating them. where she was. Vala didn't. Sorry about that. Gosh, my brain just died. Does
No,
somebody
it's
want to
okay.
interject?
Your microphone died for a second too, as well. So I think you're on the right track. You were talking about the person that had been visiting the Feywild, and then what? That was when you cut off.
That's where my brain died.
Okay, perfect. That's somebody that's been traveling to and from Feywild. Do you have any inkling as to who it might be?
Well, from the pixie, it was a mean lady, tall. I gotta open up my notes here because mean lady, maybe potentially elvish or human. Long ears, tall, usually wears a black cloak, black hair, and some sort of magical essence about her.
I'm not quite sure who that might be. It might be someone from a different settlement. This is unsettling. Adding to the issues already at hand. It'll be good that we have at least some of our scouts back, and we can resume mapping the surrounding area. Be finding more of these portals.
You didn't rely on Marty or Perrin for quite some time to leave the confines of camp.
That's true. Beyond just the portal and the Razorvine tree, were there any other dangers that you encountered in the immediate vicinity of the settlement? Yes?
There was a quicksand pit along the trail. I think Oren got that written down on his map. There was what else?
Razorvine remains.
Yeah. Able to kind of give a recap of I won't make you guys go back through, and you all remember exactly the dangers that you encountered, but we'll say you're able to give a decent kind of rendition of what's going on. Right. Well, given our lack of trained scouts that are functioning at full capacity at the moment, and let me preface this with, you've all had a busy week since you've arrived. I imagine you'd like some rest and downtime, especially if you've done so much for us all already. But would you lot be willing to, at least in part, assume the duties of a scouting troop? Potentially finding more of these portals if there are any. We can lend Corin his skills as a cartographer to map out a little bit more of the surrounding area. That's what. Would you be willing to do that? Assume that role for the settlement itself?
I don't see any reason we couldn't.
Seem to function pretty well as a team,
Well, we got back alive at least.
which is better than the other two teams that we sent ahead.
Yeah, objections?
As long as it puts food on the table.
Definitely put food on the table. That's, I think... Corin. Yes, sir. I'm going to have you work with this group, offer your skills as best as you can. If you would be so kind as to take Marty and Perrin, take them to see Ben. We can put them to work as his assistants, crafting salves and poultices as he directs. Corin kind of nods and begins to lead Marty and Perrin out. No, just calls out to him one last time, saying, "Be sure to report to Commander Grayson, update him as to what you found, and let him know that you'll be transferring your skills to operate under these four." Yes, sir. You lot, that's, I'd prefer not to send anybody into the woods, at least until the other party that we sent to Folks to send word to the mainland returns. It should be another 2 or 3 days before they're able to. Those that you journeyed here aboard the Aegis with originally made it in town last night. Still a bit shaken, but doing much better than I imagined they were when you first left them. For now, if you go see Charlie at the Giant's Rest, he'll get you set up with some more permanent accommodations. We've got you added to the rations panel, so you won't have to worry for food. But take these next few days to relax, accustom yourself to the settlement itself, and let me know if you need anything. Have some
Question before we go. Is this information that you would like to keep close at hand, or if we head to Tali's, are we free to share our experiences?
You can share your experiences as best you can. This mystery woman, it might be best not to mention her. If she's working for... She's some sort of spy for Nobrand out of Aldenstead, then I prefer not to tip her off if she has any additional informants here, other than just Elrond, if she is associated. The rest of your exploits and adventures,
Incredibly wise.
feel free. And Vala, go ahead and make an insight check.
He.
I think your passive is high enough to clue you in on this, but I want an actual active check.
10 plus. Hold on.
Oh, that's gonna be high enough. I rolled nothing.
Plus 6, 16.
Yeah. So Renault seems to be like he's holding something close to his vest every time he mentions, like when you first brought up the woman, Kai, you offered a description of her. He's been kind of thoughtful and reticent with information, asking you specifically, like, not to talk about her. Is more than just a passing, like, don't talk about what you did, but that very specific moment. You think he knows a little bit more there than he's letting on. He's just holding cards close to the chest.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else I can do for you? For four of you. That's
That Elrond feller that y'all just exiled. Someone mentioned that he had given information away to Aldenstead.
yes.
Is
That's
that something y'all are trying to keep from the other two settlements, or I figured we'd all be working together, not trying to keep secrets.
we have loose treaties with Aldenstead and Folks. We have a much better relationship with Folks. That's they're sponsored by the Felden Waith, who, though they often petition Gormund, our state sponsor, to join them in their coalition. Aldenstead, their sponsor is Nalbrand, which, if you're familiar with your local world history, they are far more bent on the domination as opposed to coexistence. I've never met an Alberonian that I've liked.
So
Mostly because most of them will try to subjugate or kill you.
it really comes down to old world politics than anything happening with the settlements right now.
True. That's whatever Aldenstead is up to on a day-to-day, it is at the service of the Nalbarand Empire, and I guarantee any of their advances wouldn't be in the best interest of us or Folks.
Fair enough.
He was, and Elrond, the man in particular, he was very deliberately giving movements of what scouting parties we had deployed, to what avail and levels of success, as well as he had listings of all the materials we've had imported and exported on the ships. He was functioning as somewhat of a assistant to Tarle as quartermaster, and he'd been using that information to get paid twice by us for his work done, and by Aldenstead for the information he was selling to them.
How recently did you catch him doing this?
I believe the most recent instance was about a week ago. We've been kind of waiting for proof, as it was. We've had our suspicions for a little while, but we caught him in possession of a sending stone, which we believe the other one was connected to the recipient in Aldenstead. We were able to pass fake information and receive proof that it had been passed on in a recent dealing with someone from traveling from Aldenstead down the river. So, he could have been sending information as early as yesterday morning, as far as I know.
Okay. Well, should we go check in with Tarly then?
Yes, let's.
Making your way out, just a couple minutes to cross the settlement, or no, Giant's Rest was right next to Renald's place. Walking in, Tarley is actually at the door, unbolting it for the day, saying he and everybody else in town had been away. Right, you've returned. Welcome
That
back.
we have.
Yes, and you see, he looks over your shoulder, Ralton. You see, you've held up on my tips about the local produce.
I have some ideas in mind about, to change it up just a little bit.
You'll have to share your ideas with me. I like what you've crafted there out of boots. That's quite the way to transport these plants.
More plants than I had hands, so I had to get them back to you somehow. Where do you want them?
You can just leave them next to the door. I've got a small plot out back that I can get them planted and see if we can't get them producing.
I chuck them dirt and all on the table nearest the door.
Perfect.
Would you mind if I were to steal a few now and then?
It'll take a while to get them into full production.
Right.
That's once I do, you're welcome to. That's just this little gift you've brought me. Will save me a lot of trips into the woods. Though I still be going to the woods every now and then for a bit of fun.
Speaking of, if you wouldn't mind at some point or another, showing me how you've got your still set up.
It's not a problem. I'd have to get it all up and running. Haven't gotten anything started for the day with the nasty business out front and all that. But
Right.
welcome to tag along. Come back over in the evening. We'll see if we can't get you set up. Your little setup of your own. I've got extra equipment lying around.
Perfect.
I am assuming that Renault sent me to get you lot set up with proper lodging.
That's right.
So, we just had a new longhouse finished. It's a smaller one. It's seeing as, the last shipment of settlers was quite a bit smaller than we anticipated. Considering we're also missing a few scouts, it seems. That's how we've got more room. It's the one closest to the river, but you four are welcome to it. That's probably need to pack a few other people in there with you, but it'll be yours for the most part. That's you, probably 2 or 3 other folks. Just to round things out, not have one longhouse super cramped and another one nearly empty. If that's all right by you, unless you want to build your own house, which, again, you're welcome to do. That's if any of your skills in carpentry are not going to take what a man can build with his own hands.
I don't mind working off the backs of other people.
That's the way it should be. Say, your chipper friend doesn't seem so chipper right now. What's got your tongue, lad?
He hasn't been very talkative since come back from this this tree. I
think he's skipped the silent treatment.
Well, it was quite the sight. Razorvine came out, reached into his mouth, and grabbed his tongue and wrapped up all in there.
Can let you immediately make a deception check. At disadvantage with Raven being behind you, like, say that's not what happened. Gesturing, that's not what happened. Yeah. has an insight of 2. 18.
Natural 1. 7.
Right. Vala, if you can fill me in on what really happened, and goes kind of behind the counter and brings out 3 tankards and starts
Gosh,
filling.
you don't take me for a trustworthy person.
I trust you to serve your own alcohol. And he puts 1 full tankard in front of Relton, 1 full of Vala, and 1 right in front of Raven. You're welcome to come behind the bar and work off the back of better men. Yeah. One of you tell me the story.
Fair enough.
We
And-
ran into quite a bit of enchantments and magics in the forest, and I think hopefully it's just a temporary ailment, but could say the cat's got his tongue.
It's the Razorvine, as I'm cleaning out a couple tankers and tinkards.
So the Razorvite could get something a lot worse than your tongue if you're not too careful where you sit. Man.
I'm going to-
He pulls out a knife, and through like the floorboards, there's actually a short length of razor vine that's like kind of pushed through, and he just wraps his remaining 2 fingers kind of around the edge of it, holding it, and just cuts it off, tosses that in kind of a bin to the side.
I'm gonna down my tankard and then slam it in front of Kaya to get me more.
I'm sorry, what'd you like? You're good? Don't say anything if you don't want any more. Perfect.
Kaya, you are hit in the side of the face with a wet bar towel.
Ah!
Get the man his drink.
All right.
And clean those 2 tables after you're done. We've built up dust here like nobody's business.
Only because you're giving me, some help with distilling some stuff.
Help for help. Welcome to the way of Harlan's Landing. And the rest of you guys, is there any information you guys don't pass on to Charlie, or do you have any questions specifically you want to ask him? I won't make you keep recounting these, what happened last session to everybody in Harlan's Landing. But if there's any information you're wanting to share specifically, or if you're just kind of generally relaying the story.
Not the tablet.
I'll say that I have plenty of questions, but can't ask them. So.
I would talk about the portal, and if he's seen anything even remotely like that, out looking around for the fruit.
No, he doesn't seem to kind of recognize at all what you're talking about with the portal. He does not. He does, like, when you guys talk about like the quicksand and stuff, he kind of laughs about what a pain in the ass that is, but no Goliath would ever be caught dead in that. You guys immediately break that down, having actually caught a Goliath dead in quicksand. That's it. You guys are able to kill the next couple hours at least, just hanging out. As evening comes by, I believe, Raven, we're getting right towards the end. This is the end of day 3, so you should actually be able to. You should be okay now, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm gonna actually spend those last 2 or 3 hours that we've just been hanging out on my own. I want to actually go try to hunt.
Oh yeah.
I want to bring back more food. Yeah, I just want to bring back food for the community.
Okay. Yeah, as an outlander, you can do that. Go ahead and make a survival check. This will be you can provide for 8 people a day, no problem.
9.
9. Yeah, so you're able to provide for the 8 people, 8 people's worth, which is about the equivalent, when you kind of bring it into the hunter's tents. You're able to load up. It's about the equivalent of what each other hunter is bringing in. So you're kind of adding to the excess. They immediately begin stripping it down, and if you're helping them, strip it down, and they start drying whatever extra they have that isn't needed for the daily ration portion. Is there anything else any of you guys are wanting to do over kind of the next couple hours?
So this settlement, do we know as far as like I know we kind of explained it. Do we know anything more about like Aldenstead and Falks at all?
Beyond just like location, that's asking around, getting a little bit more details about Falks and Aldenstead is the working relationship between Falks and Aldenstead uh, is pretty, or between Harlan's Landing and Falks is pretty good. Like they're very much like in it, like, hey, this is rough. We're both working for different people, but like there's more than enough land to go around. Aldenstead, they're like the only interaction that is like allowed between Harlan's Landing and Aldenstead is where Harlan's Landing actually is built at the mouth of the large river that leads up to Aldenstead. They pay a small tax every time that a ship comes through. Go ahead and make. Is you're kind of trying to find information about this through the day, right?
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
Loosely, go ahead and make a investigation check. This will be
10.
10. Yeah, that's about the information you're able to get. And that's you learn that they pay the tax, and then Falks and Harlan's Landing work together
Fair
pretty
enough.
soundly.
Uh,
Harlan's Landing is definitely the least funded of the three.
Okay,
'cause Falks
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Falks is backed by the Felden Waith, like the actual like king, like full kingdom. Aldenstead by the Nalbrand Empire, and Harlan's Landing they're sponsored by the city-state of Gormund. Ostermere doesn't really have a presence on Aretas yet, but they are also on like furthest point of the continent. Like it's the most difficult for them to get over. So they don't have their own settlement built yet.
Okay. So as far as like development goes, Falks is probably pretty developed, Aldenstead fairly developed, and then us, we're just kind of
you develop
tents and sticks at this point.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you've got longhouses, but it's like 10 people to a longhouse as opposed to everybody having their own place. Which it does kind of come through. They are giving the longhouse to you guys, and then they're putting Marty, Perrin, and Corin with you. They have bunks. And Corin is actually going to function as an expert or as a sidekick for you guys.
Okay.
He won't be particularly handy when it comes to combat situations, but he is a 4th level expert, specifically in cartography. So he can help as you bring details back from adventuring. He can kind of help fill out your map.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. Rules for sidekicks. Anybody that wants to look at them are in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
At some point during I'd like to have just a small glass of the wine, and then make my way over to Ben, the medicine man.
Okay. You go over and it's a large tent with 3 walls, and then a series of partitions for privacy and everything. Marty and Perrin are already kind of at work, and as you approach, you hear a voice kind of in the background coming from one of the corners. Right, and you need to take... he's giving... You understand all this. I'm not going to start trying to make up nonsense, but he's describing... there's an old man who's describing the combinations of different herbs and plants to create, like, not healing potions, but basic poultices and salves. Kind of rounding the corner into the opening of the tent, kind of sitting on a small chair, a small stool. There's an old man wearing priestly robes. He has a amulet of Leora around his neck, and he's holding a cane. He's around the corner. He kind of cocks his head over. Right, and who's in need of Ben's aid today? And he stands and turns to her, and you see that he doesn't have eyes. He's missing both of his eyes. They are uncovered, empty sockets. And he kind of turns his head towards you. Hello?
Uh,
I can hear you there.
Oh, sorry. Ben, my name is Vala. I'm somewhat of a healer myself, and I came to know that I'm here for whatever services I may be able to help you with.
I appreciate that. We can put you to work with these two, putting together poultices. Currently, that's our big focus is bandages to help with scrapes and whatnot that come from the razor vine. But what level are your skills that you possess? Magical healing, or just a knowledge, or just a desire to help? All three equally valuable in their own right.
I would say I have all three. I have magical abilities. I actually studied under the same, brain. What is it called when you in the same group, the same church? What's it called?
I want to say clergy, but that seems wrong now that you're asking me.
Sect.
I
yeah.
know. Like, what do you? How do you
Okay,
religious speak,
I
guys?
think sect is right. In the same order, sect. Or,
Okay, order. I like that. Okay, I actually study and follow the same order as your, the amulet I see you possess.
Leora's light guides us all. Well, in that case, you possess a rare gift. If you like, I can petition to Governor Renault to have you come on full time working with me. Those skills are not something to be put to waste. Do you mind if I ask what work he already has you set to do?
Currently, I will be scouting with a group, and while I would love to be here full time healing, I feel that this group may need my abilities out in the field. Spend as much of my time here in camp with you, though.
Yes, I appreciate the assistance while you're here. I could set you there's a few more rare materials in the wilds that we are in desperate need of to prepare more powerful poultices and hopefully even healing potions at a certain point. I could give you descriptions and the names of those, and if you could bring them back to me, appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes, please, and I will samples as I go of other unique items I find, in case they may be of assistance for you.
Might I ask you to perhaps fulfill a personal favor as well while you're out? Early
What would
travelers,
that be?
early travelers that came to Aretas brought back a story of a magical pool. Its waters are said to heal even the most grievous of wounds, and if possible, one of the reasons I came here was to hopefully restore my lost sight. See this new world see this new world the first time before I go. But an old man such as myself isn't suited for adventures into the unknown woods. And so I realize it's most likely just a fairy tale, a legend told to bring old fools like me to the settlements. But if you see anything, let me know.
I will do all I can to find this pool, and I pray to Ladora that it is as healing as the rumors say.
And with that, you are able to spend the next couple hours kind of chatting with Ben, kind of helping out with helping Marty and Perrin put together poultices. You know, they don't talk and they stay pretty close to each other for the most part. They kind of work with surprising efficiency, getting everything put together. They follow instructions really well. They're pretty well suited to the work they're being put to here. Or Elton, what are you working at?
I'm gonna go, and I assume there's, I guess lumberjacks, if you will, people cutting down trees, preparing wood, all sorts of stuff like that, right?
Yeah, just outside the city walls, there is tons of that work. People that are cleaning logs to go into the River Run mill, uh, clean to the planks and things like that. So, um,
I will lend my brawn to that work, and if at all possible, at the end of the day, I'll see if I can't acquire some of those materials to work on our new longhouse.
yeah, that's uh, very much to kind of to the stance of um, what Tarley had said is if you want to start like build your own house, you're welcome to it. Like we're not going to take what a man builds with his own hands. Or you go and cut like every tree you cut down on your own. Like if you run it through the mill and place them in your own stack, nobody seems to touch it. Like people will kind of move and cart any logs that you set into the communal pile, but anything you set aside for yourself, kind of leave alone and just let you do what you will with it. So
Okay. I'll do like a half and half.
perfect. You chatting. That's everybody's kind of wary of you as you walk up and go. But if you start chatting with them at all, that it doesn't take too long for them to just at least accept that you're there and part of it. Just however friendly you want to be.
I'll give them nods and grunts, but I'm not starting up a conversation with anybody.
There's a couple of the guys that kind of will ask questions about like, oh, where you come from, and as you kind of ignore them, they don't press. It seems to be a community of don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
One younger man kind of starts trying to press you, like, where do you come from? And he actually gets like clapped across the back of the head by an older half orc. Better than that.
I will see if I can't demonstrate friendliness with my actions rather than my words. So, like, I'll run somebody else's log through the mill as well. I'll help somebody else tote their log to be cleaned or et cetera, but stay pretty quiet for the most part.
Yeah, and they seem appreciative of you, but after the first hour or so, they kind of leave you alone and just work alongside you. It's hunting. Kai, you're put to work. You now effectively work at the Giant's Rest.
Okay.
Congrats, you're hired. I didn't apply.
But you do have access to brewer's supplies.
Fine.
Can't take them with you, but there's like a full setup next to Carly's setup.
So, along with the fruit that we found, what other things does he have back there? Does he have any other? He have like some grapes or?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
14.
14. Yeah, he's got grapes. There's a series of different herbs that are like hanging and drying. Some of them you recognize, like cardamom, clove, things like that. There's some that just look odd, but like when you smell them, they have different, like wildly different notes. Some of them are like super spicy, and others have like a pungent sweetness that like lingers in your nose for minutes after you got close to it. Oddly, he has like dried meats and stuff that are like in a fermenting pot.
Okay.
Fermenting. He has one that is essentially just a giant sauerkraut pot with a ton of different herbs. Like it smells like sauerkraut, but with a bunch of these weird different herbs. Like he's definitely experimenting with different fermentations from local fauna. This is the Mad Scientist Brewer's Hut.
Brewery. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna talk to him, ask him what he's done, and then I'm gonna try to make my own brew.
Okay. Go ahead and give me this. This is just a proficiency check plus intelligence. So it's your intelligence, your proficiency bonus, intelligence modifier, and proficiency bonus.
I made everybody super big. I think that's just 8, fortunately. Yep, 8.
8. Mister, it'll take probably about a week on this first brew to see how it comes out. But you have 5 gallons of something.
Okay.
You're tinkering with a different combination of some of the like you're like I'm gonna go big contrasting flavors. I'm going earthy. I'm going fruity and spicy. All pineapple. Like you did a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Go big or go home.
Kind of did the whole suicide thing at the when you go up to the fountain drinks and you just put them all in. Yeah.
And
All
then
right, got it.
a piece of the treated meat out of the fermenting pot. You have just pretty much a fistful of meat goop.
Oh God.
You throw
All
that
right.
in,
Yeah, let's do it.
which
make
that on
it.
its own, like tasting it, that tastes like incredible. It's like he's made it effectively like pineapple pork jerky. It's jerky al pastor.
Oh, okay.
Like that's what he's working on there. He's using the pineapples for other stuff. But yeah, in about a week of game time, you'll see how that comes out.
All right.
Um,
I did have a question. Do I feel something different that makes me think I can speak?
nope.
Okay, just want to check.
No, just very much how it settled on you. That's just
Okay.
yeah. Anything else you guys want to do?
Nope.
And we're actually going to have about a week of downtime. Governor Renault said he wasn't going to send you guys out, put you back to work until the party from returning from Falks got back. It's a bit of a journey for them going up along the coast, so you'll have about a week to kind of accomplish anything you want to. We don't go into a lot of detail unless you want to role play, but if there's anything specific that you guys are trying to find out, David, by the end of it, we'll end this with your brew being finished and you getting to taste it for the first time.
Okay.
Your wild yeast suicide pineapple cider.
Yep.
I'd just like to continue on working on the house, but I'd like to do things like go hunting for deer. Maybe I can get Raven's help on this to like make rugs and shit like that. See if I can't find maybe dyes out in the forest and just like go super survival on this.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah. So yeah, go survival check. Let's do a survival check. We'll do this. Raven, are you going to be willing to be helping Orelton with this project?
Let me see. I kind of want to kind of role play that first night.
Yeah,
that we're back.
Of course. So the first night, you guys all come back from what you're working on, everything, and kind of meet back at the. We'll say you meet at the Giant's Rest, and Charlie kind of drops the keys, 2 large keys onto the table. Those will get you into your longhouse. Let me know if I can do anything else for you lot.
2 of them.
Perfect.
There's a spare. Or...
Okay, so you never know when you'll lose a key. I'd recommend not keeping them in the same place.
Sure.
Take the other.
Gave 1 to Corin already, so you've got 3.
Who wants this one?
I mean, I guess I could take it.
Shh. I'm gonna slide it down the bar.
I'm just gonna start looking at the tablet, like off in a corner, not where Tarly can see or anything like that. Just
And
try to
at this
examine
point, the inn is a little bit fuller, more full.
Hey,
Somebody's busted out a loot in the back corner, and is just kind of strumming half-heartedly at it.
Oh,
hey, Ben. Oh,
I was gonna say in that case, I'll probably
I don't know about
start
you,
walking out. But
I'm quite tired. I'd like to make my way back, so I'll see of you.
okay. Hey, Ben.
Head back
Try
to
some
the
of this.
longhouse.
And I give him no. No, I
I'm
give
just
him a little bit of that pineapple ham, I think is what you said.
Yep.
Whatever it was.
Fermented
I just
jerky
take a
out the
small.
store.
Yeah, I take a little bit of that. I slide it over to him. Try some of that.
taste it. Does it taste good? I'm
Oh,
assuming
it's
really well.
fantastic. Yeah,
Okay.
it's great. It's essentially just a super slow marinated, like it pulls apart as he picks it up. Yeah.
Whew. Some good stuff.
Ah,
Hey,
You
look who's back.
you can hear me?
shite.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Thank God. It's been the worst 3 days of my life. I'm telling you.
It was a nice rest for me.
You know
It
what?
was good to have you back, and I'll slap you on the back.
Kind of. I got some things to say to you two. It's a little irritating that I'm out here working my butt off to help you guys, and you treat me like that when I've got something going on. You know, I thought we were friends. I'm here for you.
We got your back, didn't we?
Like, this isn't just me being crazy. There's something wrong with this thing.
Oh, from the tablet.
Keep your voice down.
The tablet.
Yeah, like this. We need to discuss this.
But you were just mad at us.
No.
I mean, that's kind of the vibe I got.
But, I mean, you kind of just yeeted me off into the distance and then stopped talking to us.
I mean, what? I couldn't talk. You couldn't hear me. I had to show you what was going on.
Well, I mean,
Trust me,
You could
that
talk.
was the easiest thing I could have done to you.
Yeah, and I mean, where I come from, I'm used to, you give him a good left hook. Don't talk to him for 2 days, and then you're bros again.
I wanted to talk. I couldn't. It wouldn't let me.
Well,
I
see,
don't
that's
think
a
you're
horse.
understanding that.
Can I see that tablet?
I don't think we should do it here. I think we should go back to the tent if we're going to look at this.
All right. Finish my drink.
well, unfortunately, Tarlai isn't going to let me leave. So,
You've
have to hang
got
out
3
here for a little.
tables that are waiting on new drinks, Kaya.
yeah, I'm working on it.
Earn your keep.
You want us to wait for you?
Nah. You're all right. Just filling me in on what you find.
All right.
Head back.
Go ahead and give me a general charisma check, David.
Just straight charisma? No,
It's
like,
straight charisma.
cool. I'm going to have to. Ooh. 23.
You make 14 silver pieces and tips tonight.
God damn.
All right. We're
With a couple jokes of there's not really any place to spend it,
okay.
but here you go.
Fair enough.
I guess we'll head back to the tent.
Well, yeah, that's
Longhouse, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
longhouse,
longhouse.
sorry.
And it is a really basic. Like you go in, it's a dirt floor, but it has 4 walls and a roof, and then a little opening in the back where there's a fire built up, where it vents off to the side, so you won't die of smoke inhalation in the night.
Sweet.
Probably.
It's a desirable quality in a house.
While I'm working,
Welcome home.
I'm just gonna kind of keep my ears open for any like rumors or anything anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So, hand it over. All you
Fine.
might want to see this too.
Oh, hey, Vala. And I'll hand him the tablet.
Glad your voice has come back to you.
Yeah.
So I'll just take a look over it. It was what language on the front?
It's Sylvan.
So
Right, and none of us spoke it.
I did. I mean,
And that's you
Yeah.
can,
I don't
Sorry,
know
just
if you
like-
can read anything on this, but
This is all Elvish to me.
so pretty much-
Think thing. Language thing.
what was that?
Oh,
The
comprehend
language
language.
thing.
The helmet.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, you got the helmet where you could comprehend the languages.
Oh, yes. Does that mean I can read them too?
Sorry. Little meta.
yeah. Actually, I think if you click on, because did you add that to your inventory, or who got that?
Pretty sure that
I
was
have
Bala.
it, but I haven't added it to my inventory. Oh, Jesus. I just exited out of
It's okay.
It's fine.
I added it to your inventory. So you can cast comprehend languages at will. You must be touching the surface on which the words are written to be able to read it. It takes 1 minute. 1 minute to read 1 minute of text.
I'm going to do so. Touch the tablet and
You get
read it.
a lot of the same information that Raven had gotten when he attuned to it. That's punish those who break and burn. And it seems like it's something like almost like a holy text, like the way that it's written. Protected be the forest by the Father. Punishment, things like that. So there's not really any new information that comes from just you being able to read it as well, because it is a language that Raven was able to understand too. So he was able to read it. Are you wanting to spend the half hour to an hour to actually attune to the tablet? So you do realize that you could spend some time and actually have like there is a magical energy to it that you can connect to.
No, I'm not going to. Too dangerous. Does it have any? The words that it's saying, it says it sounds kind of religious. Does any of it sound familiar to me, or
Go ahead and make a
like
religion
anything
check.
I've read before?
Go ahead and make a religion check.
1.
What was that?
21.
I
21?
rolled a 21.
There we go. 21. That's the language. It does seem somewhat familiar, if not like comprehended languages is getting it to a point that you can understand it, but it still has that feel of like ancient text, like how people used to talk way back, like comparing English to Old English, just in terms of like stanza stylization. It is very much written like to describe a protector of the forest. There was at some point somebody that actually worshipped and prayed to this being, and this is a tablet that is meant to like invoke the wrath of the protector, to be used in protection and as a way to like connect to the protector himself, like whoever it is. So on the religious check, it has a like a small notation that you pick up that very similar to holy text when they're printed, noting which like printing of it. Like every time somebody would scribe out a holy document, they'd make a mark of how many times they had done it. And this, you're not able to really like, it's been kind of scruffed off, but in the same placement, same style, there seems to be something that has been like chipped away, leading you to think that there are more than just one of these tablets.
Yeah, I mean, this.
I'm gonna kind of roll that.
I will say importantly here, this is a familiar style. This is something that was made and is something that seems like, with the notations and things like that, specific to this area. But it's also ancient.
So yeah, I mean, this. It's got great capabilities, but it's got a lot of risk. I mean, you saw when I put you to sleep that like I got blown back. It's dangerous.
You said that was the least dangerous thing you could do? What else could it do?
I mean, if you're using it, you can put somebody to sleep. You can make them afraid of you. You know, you can make
Do that
them
already.
sick beyond reason. I
And
mean, you can. I think with enough power, we could make it to the Fey world if we wanted to.
and none of that sounds dangerous unless you're on the receiving end of it.
I mean, those castings all hurt the caster.
Every one of them.
Every single one.
I think it might be best if we kept this in a very secure spot. And I mean, as much as I appreciate everyone's help in our group, I'm not sure how I feel about Kaya knowing where we hide it. Sorry!
No, keep going. I love it.
I mean, is there anything in particular that's causing you to not trust Kaya?
Yeah, out of all the people on this continent right now, why Kaya?
He's one of the few that I have the most experience with, and not seem as helpful and trustworthy as either of you.
guess
Just
you do have a
worry
point
about
there.
his intentions. I feel he would be
Well,
tempted to take that power.
I'm tempted to take that power.
Maybe we should hire you as well.
But I know when something's better than I am, so maybe it's something we keep until it's useful to us.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we should get rid of it until one, we can better control it, and if we need it, we need it. But
I do think Reagan should probably
Secured, though.
hang on to it.
do you want me to hang on to it?
Agreed.
You can hang on to it or leave it somewhere, but
I think I'll hang on to it.
you give it to me, I'm gonna try it.
I believe that. I'm sorry for my outburst earlier. I've been rejected too many times, and it stings a little, you know?
No, I've been there. It's nice to know you have a barbed idea as well. It's not all fairy farts and rainbows over there.
You know, I just try to fit in. Maybe I'm approaching it wrong, but
Well, if you're trying to fit in here, you're approaching it wrong. A couple more of those outbursts, like you say, probably fit in a little better.
noted. Well, I think I'm gonna get some rest. It's been a long 3 days.
And this, me just checking here. Are you reattuning to the tablet, or are you
Just storing it.
carrying the tablet with
Just
you?
carrying it, yeah.
Okay.
And while he goes to bed, I'm gonna go outside and I don't know, check on the leather that's tanning. Or no, we haven't done that yet, so I'll do something improvement related.
Okay. So we'll move on to that. David, you were listening for what information again?
Just
Or trying to glean?
Yeah, any rumors, any gossip. I mean, anything.
The biggest thing, going off of your previous roll, the 23 charisma check or whatever it was, is enough to really get a handle on any information you're going for. The biggest thing, like people are talking about, is Elrond getting kicked out. Like nobody saw it coming. Then they're also along that line talking about like the camp, like this supposed camp of other people that have been exiled, that their people are surviving their exile and banding together and kind of creating their own settlement. I'm going to give you, based on your choice, which avenue are you more interested in pursuing? The reason, like what Elrond was exiled for and kind of what got him caught, or um, the like more details about the supposed exiles and survivors? Which rumor do you want to focus on to get more information about?
Damn, that's kind of a tough one.
Yeah.
You
just have to focus your attention a little bit because those are the two big rumors that are being talked about, big things that are being discussed.
I guess probably about the people being kicked out in general.
Okay, so like the camp that they're forming.
Yeah.
It's a rumor, and this one people kind of talk about, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we heard from some of the scouts a while back." There is a lot of like markings through the forest being left that if somebody kind of knows the right area to look, there's apparently like a secret path that you can follow if you ever are exiled that will kind of lead you to them. And that there is like a particular person that seems to be gathering people that are exiled, and they've been spotted kind of like on the outskirts of Harlan's Landing, watching over the town. And they seem to be watching for people that are being exiled. Been this mysterious figure that some people swear, "Oh, I've seen him on the edge of the forest. Like they're watching." It's, like, kind of makes me glad that people that are being exiled, it's not just a death sentence. And I think it should be. We should just kill them on the spot, and they're going to come back. It's going to come back to bite us. Where all these people live. Yeah, able to get a few more details there.
Perfect.
Through the night, and the rest of you are going to bed and stuff, so we can kind of move into the next week of downtime.
And I
which
will
brings us
help
to
O'Relton.
You will help O'Relton.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Raven, I'll have you do a survival check, and O'Relton, I want you to make an athletics check. This is you two working together to like find material and actively like building everything, like getting this foundation set. It's really easy for you guys talking to Governor Renault to get like a little plot of land squared away. They have lots of they'll make do with the longhouse that's already built. Are you guys wanting to do something inside or outside the wall?
Probably outside the wall. I was thinking like gathering components from the forest to make our home more homey. Maybe like I was thinking adding towers to the back of the longhouse so that we could have extra space, etc., etc.
Okay, so you're actually wanting to build onto the longhouse itself.
Yeah, in addition to like making rug, like I'm spending as much time as I can just making it an actual house rather than.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, I thought you were trying to build your own like from the ground up. So this makes more sense. So the longhouse, building it up. What did you get on your athletics, and what did you get on your survival?
I got a 14.
13? 13? Okay. This wasn't a hard. This is actually a much lower DC than I thought when you were just building a house from the scratch. Pretty easy. You're actually very easily able to get a floor in place with the, wood that you harvested. You're able to build up instead of just bedrolls on the ground. You're actually to get some functional beds into place for each of you. And then you're cleaning from what Raven's handling, like hunting through the week. Get skins cleaned and tanning, ready to become, pelts and furs for warmth and comfort kind of deal.
Sweet.
Yeah.
If Kaya,
yeah, it's no longer just a dirt floor Longhouse. You guys are actually building that up pretty substantially.
Sweet.
Even that just like quarter-second delay, man. So if Kaya sees you guys or hears about you guys going outside the walls to like go gather stuff, he is going to ask you to, if you find any herbs or potentially looking even like moss or mushrooms, fruit, anything along those lines. He's going to ask you if you could just snag them along your way. Don't go out specifically looking for them, but if you happen to see some nearby, just grab them.
Sure. Do I see any of those when we go out?
Go ahead and roll. Give me a survival check with advantage.
Sure. 17 total.
17 total. Yeah, like a couple of the detailed like herbs and different spices and stuff you're able to find. You also find one. Roll a d10 for me.
D10. 10.
10. You find this one mushroom, and it's like this gray mushroom. It's pretty bulbous, but it's one of the ones that's like covered in holes and pores. And the pores are constantly extruding like a light mist that falls out of it and rolls along the ground. You actually find it in the middle of this clearing where it's just this one mushroom, and there's like an inch of fog like going out from it, and it kind of like dissipates off after getting a couple feet away.
I've obviously never heard of anything like this before, right?
Nope, it's just a weird mushroom, but it kind of matches what Kaya told you. Just see any weird mushrooms, bring them back.
Hey, Raven.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Interesting.
Ever seen that before?
No, I can't say that I have. That's not the type of mushroom I normally run across.
Yeah, me neither. I'll wave my hand through the mist.
It's normal mist. It just like dissipates as your hand passes through, and just kind of reforms as more mist flows out of this mushroom.
It's wild. I'll just touch the mushroom. Poke it.
Boing, boing, boing.
The boing mushroom.
Oh, listen to this sound.
Boing, boing. Is that exact noise? Boing.
just Andrew's voice, just boing, boing.
Well, you know,
Whoa.
Kyle love this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pluck it.
Just
Wait, hold it off the ground. Does
okay.
it still have any mist?
Yep, and it still just kind of pours out of it.
Dude,
There's
that's
just tavern music playing in the background. You guys are off in the woods, and there's a minstrel following you around.
Just go away, guys.
why
Damn.
is the band here?
That's interesting. I would have thought that would have stopped coming out of there.
Yeah, like that's got to be magic, right?
Yeah, I'm curious about this land. It's
Some weird shit out here.
seems like everything has something magical about it.
Tears to the Feywild, marionette trees, misty mushrooms. Well, I'm taking this to Bauer. Put it in my bag.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'll say
But
as a side note, at the end of each of our hunting days, I'm gonna just spend 30 minutes in the forest by myself, meditating and kind of trying to speak with nature, like the hippie I am.
Okay. Fallout. Well, what are you doing through the course of this week?
I am gonna do everything I can to help our medicine man friend, healing people, maybe going out and collecting some herbs that are close enough to camp that I feel comfortable going on my own, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's all easy enough to do. You learn a little bit more about Ben, and like the key thing is like he really is here just because like he heard stories about Aretas being full of magic, and healing and all these things. So, um, Marty and Perrin kind of being just kind of in this generally comforting presence of you and uh, Ben have actually started to talking is a strong word, but like they'll like to get somebody's attention, like they'll actually be like, hey, like they just started like they've begun using words and actually trying to communicate beyond just being around. The shell shock is fading a little bit, and Ben has also been giving that like giving them like I'm gonna say dosing. He's not dosing them, but he's like helping medicate, like calming their nerves. Like it's in addition he's making to their tea and stuff as they're working with him. Just help keep
Essentially
them
like a
calm.
melatonin kind of thing.
Yeah, just
Or like
keep them
sleeping.
calm and helping to like deal with the anxiety. Yeah, and that's I think. And Kai, you're working on your brew and everything. We're gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Sorry, no go.
Yeah, and then whatever errands need to be ran for the Giant's Rest, as well as, do I ever meet up with Ben at any point?
You probably bump into him once or twice. Like you drop off some herbs that Charlie has deemed unfit for brewing purposes, and sends you with a load to drop off for Ben and Vala to see if they could do anything with them for poultices and healing.
So every time I see Ben, then I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion and give him eyeballs.
Are we talking like eyeballs, or like googly eyes?
At first, they're going to be regular eyeballs, and then they're slowly going to turn into googly eyes.
So there was a horrific point in your week, Vala, where you kind of round around. You hear Kaya come up, and you round around the corner, and Ben is facing you. Kaya's back is to you, and Ben has what look like two normal eyes, but they're like pointing at opposite directions. And anytime he like moves his head, they like whip to different angles, looking at other stuff. And Kaya is like barely containing his own laughter.
Smack him over the back of his head.
Ah!
Make Constitution saving throw.
14.
14. The eyes remain. She did not break your concentration on the spell, unless you choose to drop it. But
After the smack, I'll redo it and give him regular eyes. That are bright green in color.
Love it.
Okay. We kind of get towards the last day, the morning of the 7th day. Okay. Finally ready to try your brew for the first time.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for the group before I try it.
We're gonna do this early in the morning. This is your unveiling. You guys gather in the tasting room of the Giant's Rest. You lift up, and it's a smaller cask that's been resting in, so you're able to actually put it on the table. You tap it, and pull out 5 small glasses. Carla's joining you on your work, and these little tasting glasses. As he stoppers it, opens it up, and nothing really happens. And then it goes. A little sludge bullet falls out into the first cup.
Huh.
And you kind of go through and you go, that's weird. You put one aside, and just like in every couple seconds, it's just another drop. And it's like, as it kind of breaks the surface tension, it like pulls another bullet of whatever this is out. One other question. Did you add the mushroom that was brought back to you to this?
No.
Okay. This is
No.
something separate. Okay. And you have 5 little glasses with what is essentially like a half melted gumdrop in the bottom of it.
Okay.
It's just this thick, tarry. Go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
So I call this everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, I can tell.
And
What did you roll?
14.
14? Okay.
I call this everything but the kitchen sink. This was an experiment. Please don't judge this. And let's give her a try.
I'm gonna sniff it first.
You first, bud.
It smells terrible. Like it smells like everything, like meat and old plant. Like it smells like a compost pile that somebody soaked in pineapple juice.
Don't say I never did anything for you. And I'll scoop it out with 2 fingers and
Okay. Is anybody
Well,
else?
down
Like,
I'm just.
as you kick yours, Kaya, as you kick yours back, it rolls down
like-
the side of the glass, like the little like the gummy octopus that you would throw against the window, and it would fall. And
It'd
stick.
plop down.
You shit, absolutely terrible. Vala, you pass on yours.
Yeah, no, not
Okay.
even.
I'm gonna look at Tarly and see what he does.
Tarly just shrugs his shoulders, kicks it back. Takes him a second. Sticks a finger in there, knocks it out. It falls. It like lands on his lip, and
All right.
Oh.
And I'll take it as well.
okay, I'm gonna need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw,
I figured.
including Tarly.
I was just disgusted.
13 for
15.
me.
13, 15,
12.
12. Kaya and Orelton. It's bad. It's pretty terrible. But you both had pretty bad things. Like, yeah, it hits the ground. It seems to have hardened upon contact with your saliva, and like, ting, bounces off the ground.
As in typical fashion.
Tarly grabs like one of the nearby empty barrels and just starts throwing up into it. Raven, you feel your stomach flip upside down. You and Tarly are both poisoned for the next hour. You aren't vomiting violently. That was the result of a natural one.
Okay.
And for a second, he like grabbed your cask and was going to throw up into it, but couldn't quite get the lid off in time, and just had to grab one of the open, empty ones next to it.
I don't feel so good.
Well,
Why?
Remind me why we had to taste test pesticide.
well, this one was a bit of an experiment.
I'd
Uh-huh.
say
It didn't work out so well. But I promise you the next one will be better.
how about tell
About
me
in
when
the
it's
future
good.
ones, you test it before you ask us to come test it.
No. You didn't even try it. This is a community
Because
thing. If
I
it's
seem to
good,
be the only intelligent
no.
person in this room.
Hang
if
on.
it's good,
Give her that this time around.
If it's a community thing, I think we should have a little bit of a say, bud.
Tell you what, I'll
Well-
taste the next one if it's liquid.
Tarly,
Look, all I'm saying-
who is like a gray-green color at this point, the Goliath skin tone not really matching the green color of his nausea very well, walks over and finally manages to get the lid off of the top of your cask and looks at it. And the tar at the bottom makes up about a third of what's in there. Everything else is a perfectly clear liquid that has formed, and everything has separated out from. You made poison, lad. And he walks out of the room.
Can I
Well-
like just take a little, like a shot glass of the clear liquid on the top?
Yeah.
Sniff.
It pretty much smells the same. Like, it smells terrible.
Yeah, nope.
Pretty awful. it is essentially just the liquid. Kyle, kind of looking at it, you're like, all right, this is just as bad as what's below it. It's pretty much just all the liquid separated out. It was not a good first attempt.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna
you
take
can add,
a-
if you'd like, you can add a gallon of poison.
I recommend disposing of this in some proper way where it's not going to get into a water supply.
I mean, you can't just dump it on the ground.
I think
Yeah,
we've
why can't
pissed
you
off
do that?
nature
If you
enough.
dump it
We
on
don't
the
need
ground,
to. We don't need to violate it.
So dump it into the ocean. What do you want me to do?
I
Leave it in
think
the
there's
cask.
nature in the ocean too. I don't think you can do that.
Leave it in the cask. Like where am I supposed to go? It's not like there's a recycling
I'd
center
recommend
around
the
here.
outhouse.
I like what Tarly said. You can't just use just poison. Find somebody you don't like, put it in their food. Put it on an arrow. Put it on the edge of a sword.
I mean, you guys are more than welcome to it. I
You might have a.
don't really have a need for that.
I might dip one of my arrows in that later.
Let's
Let's
give it a
try
shot.
You guys are free to it.
Vala, you and your skill with medicine and everything, you know that this particular kind of poison would have to be ingested. It wouldn't work if an arrow was dipped into it or a sword or anything. It's not that kind of poison.
But does she
Maybe-
tell us that?
No, she doesn't.
Smart.
So y'all
Yeah.
think that you're poisoning your shit, but
No. Put it on the
It
edge of my
smells
sword.
really bad now.
I will
fast
dip.
forwarding
I was gonna say I'll dip one arrow tip into the sludge, like cover the arrow tip in sludge, and take it with us hunting that day.
Okay. Fast forwarding to your hunting trip, Orelton and Raven, you guys kind of wandering out. You get a little bit farther out. You have to range a little bit farther than you have been. But on your way back, you hear a come from your backpack, Raven.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna take my backpack off.
Okay. You take your backpack off, and like as you kind of move it, it catches on something, and something like pulls against your backpack, holding it like in place where it is.
I think the tablet's acting up.
I'll grab his bag and like. Is it just hovering there or?
Yep, it seems to be suspended in one spot. It's just closed, and like when you like pull it down, it catches on the top of the backpack. You pull it up, and it catches on the bottom, side to side, front and back.
Just let it go and like it's hanging on something that's floating in the air essentially.
It just drops and is hanging there.
It's turned into a fucking.
I'm gonna open up the top to my bag.
Okay, and you look in. There's a small rent in space, exuding a soft green light on the inside of your backpack. And as you lower your backpack down, the little hole doesn't move.
Well, it looks like we've got a new tear. Should I take care of this
Great.
the same way that I did it before?
I kind of want to see what's on the other side. How big is the tear? Just like
It's maybe about the size of a quarter.
so if I like stuck 2 fingers in and just
You can peek in, and it opens into what seems to be like an autumn landscape. Trees where the leaves are changing. Kind of peeking around, kind of have an idea of what to look for. You see some of the leaves will like be falling, and then they'll turn around, and you'll see the shape of like a young woman or a young man. And they flitter away, kind of playfully. You are again peering into the Feywild. Another point.
this looks like an all right portion of the Feywild. How close to camp are we?
You are probably only about an hour away. That's you've maybe gone 2 miles into the woods now. You're probably 2 miles, and you're on your way back.
Okay. So maybe we close this one, and maybe we leave the tablet at home, and eventually it'll open up a tear there.
I mean,
Hopefully it'll be a good one.
do we want a tear in camp?
I mean, I feel like to figure out what's going on here, we're going to need both sides of the tear, whether that's here or in camp.
I wonder if I'm not controlling it, or if somebody's not controlling it, it just does this on its own.
Well, it did it on its own this time. He's thinking somebody needs to be attuned to it and watching it at all times.
I'm wondering if that might be the safest thing for us. Last thing we need is to have a bad tear happen in the middle of camp.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I guess we close this one, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best. Knowing how I closed it last time, I'm gonna hit it with another arrow.
Shoot the tablet with an arrow. Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
That would be a gnarly 24.
Okay, so you successfully hit it.
Really hoping it doesn't break.
Go ahead and roll damage for me.
5.
The crack extends a little bit more. There's a flash, and the portal does close.
Okay, that worked.
I feel like we're only going to be able to do that so many more times, though.
Yeah, I think we might be better off controlling it so that we can avoid this.
You want to do it, or you want me to?
Well, you did say you would try to use the power, so
Hell yeah, I'll try it.
I will go ahead and do it myself.
Damn it.
And I guess
Okay.
on the
Are you
walk
gonna-
back, I'll just take the time to attune to it on the walk back.
Just a casual walk. It'll take a little bit longer because you have to walk a little bit slower. Yeah, you reattune to the cracked crystal tablet. You. Cool. You guys
I guess I'm
kinda
not
make your way
poisoned
back
anymore.
in.
No, I'll take that.
Yeah, you're no longer poisoned.
Okay.
Just make your way back into town. And Vala, Kai, are you guys doing anything at this time? You're tinkering with your next batch of brew, I'm assuming, Kai.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to try to get information on this mushroom. First, by talking to Tarley. If he doesn't have any information, then going and talking to Ben.
Neither of them seem particularly familiar with what it is or what it might do. It's Ben kind of talks a bit about how magic kind of just infuses this entire land, and who knows what it might be or what it might do.
Recommend
Well, you-
finding a small animal to feed it. That. Small bit of it to it.
If only that squirrel that got Elton were here. All right. I'm going to go back and, if it's okay, I'm actually going to work with Tarley on this next one instead of just solely on my own.
Okay, go ahead and make an intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus with advantage. And I've adjusted the DC for this where you do have a master brewer assisting.
19.
19? Okay. That's there's a couple things you kind of go for a little bit, and every now and then Charlie gonna adjust. He's definitely letting you take the lead on this, seeing what you come up with. But when you have you grab two things and he goes, hey, if you mix those two together, let's say that wouldn't just make you sick, it'll kill you. And kind of guiding you through, just keeping you away from making very bad decisions. But But you feel much better about this batch.
Okay, I was planning on potentially adding this mushroom. I'm gonna get kind of what Tarley thinks about it, if he thinks I should add it or if I shouldn't.
There's plenty of things around here that'll kill you just as well as they'll make you an inch taller. Or give you an extra set of joints in your arms. But it's up to you, lad. I just let you know, like, if you just start putting random untested things into your brews, I won't be drinking any of it.
All right, I'm gonna hold off then.
And it is, you do know that it's something you can add later if you think you could. But you've also never cooked with magical vegetables.
Fair enough.
All right. Vala, anything you want other than just kind of helping out? Anything you want to do to close out this week?
Yeah, sorry, one last thing, just keeping my ear open and eye out for any news of Nalbarund or anything about strangers or strange women who've been around these parts.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay.
You can do intelligence or charisma. The base for it as well.
Doesn't matter. I rolled 3, so
Nothing really
Missed a
specific.
9.
People will complain and gripe about Nalbrand as long as you have time to talk to them. Nothing really. No new information arises until about midday, when 2 horses kind of arrive into town with their riders, and they meet up. They go straight up to the governor's house. And go in. Your assumption here, considering especially how rare horses are, is that these were the riders sent to Falks. After a little bit, Governor Renault comes out onto his porch, and reaching up to the side, there's kind of a large bell hanging off it, kind of next to his porch, and he kind of starts ringing that. Townsfolk move away, kind of from what they're doing, and slowly kind of trickle through. Renault addresses the crowd. We have some good news and some bad news. Let's say the good news is we've got word to Gormund that they'll be adjusting their route to kind of compensate for the fact that the previous shipping routes have been compromised. We also have an agreement with folks that they'll help trade with us to keep us through, and we're not relying fully on our hunters, who have been keeping up very well this last week or so. We appreciate you all. You keep us fed, but we can take some of that burden off you soon. Downside, because Gormund has to establish a new shipping route, they're going to be on leaner times than we were hoping for at least a little while. We have some strange news as well. Apparently, Aldenstead, or Nalbarund has stopped sending ships to Aldenstead. So we're not going to be able to collect those taxes anymore until their shipping resumes. No other details than that. But they saw the times. That from this point forward, if we can band together, we can withstand it. We're all hard folk here. You've all been through tougher times. Back to it. Turns around and walks back into his office. you know that this means that the next day, you'll assume your scouting responsibilities of mapping the surrounding area, hopefully finding rifts, anything like that. Um, the the week of hanging out and kind of just pursuing interests is done. Kai, Tarley understands that you're not going to be a permanent, reliable employee. Um, he was just fully taking advantage of you while you were here.
Fine.
But you'll still be welcome to use the brewer supplies. The horsemen ride out and start unloading packs and dropping those off at the Giant's Rest. These are more rationing packs that are going to be stored in some of the cool rooms that Charlie has set up. People get back to their business. Are you wanting to hit up any final people before you guys kind of head back into the wilds this following day?
If I notice a time that Harley's not busy and the tavern's like pretty empty, like basically nobody there, I wouldn't mind stopping in and talking with him by myself.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. After the two riders kind of drop off what supplies that they were able to bring back with them, the inn itself isn't actually open for business, and so you're able to pretty quickly kind of catch Charlie's attention and right, lad, what can I do for you?
Hey, just wanted to stop by and see how things were going.
Pretty well. Let's say that's Folks was kind enough to send us some grains and rations, things like that, so we're not just having to subsist on meat and fruit that the forest provided. So pretty well in that respect. It's difficult knowing that we're not going to be getting another supply ship anytime soon, but it's good to know one's coming.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight times. I can definitely tell, but glad we have a plan in place.
What you, lad? It's been a long week for you. You've been doing quite a bit of hunting and
yeah,
whatnot.
I'm doing all right. Trying to get used to the land. It's kind of different here. Seems like everything's got a magical touch to it, you know?
It's part of the reason that I came here. Is everything's a bit more exciting. Retirement didn't quite suit me, so. Or anything particularly interesting?
I mean, we found that a mushroom. I don't know if Kaya showed you that at all, but it's kind of interesting that just kind of missed it.
Well, he immediately wanted to put it into his
Yeah.
brew, which I suggested that he try testing it on anything other than me.
That guy, I swear, he doesn't think things through. He just kind of goes with what he wants to do, you know?
He's typer like that. You've got to, we need people like that. We need people that can think and people that just act without thinking at all.
Yeah, that is fair.
But
So
they
you,
make excellent busboys.
yeah. So you said retirement wasn't really fitting you. Where were you holding up before this?
I've traveled all around the world. That's at least what I thought was all around the world before I came here. I've served for a long time.
Where'd you serve from? Any particular post you spent the most time, or?
I grew up in the north. It's Ulrich's Bastion. After the invasion there, as demons in Mordkish. So I actually met the great heroes, Sigrid Valkyrie, and her soon-to-be husband. I served under Baldwin Felrest, and I had the auspicious, we'll call it in honor, of meeting his son, the late damned Olrin Felrest. But when the tribes decided to unite under Baldwin and form an empire, it wasn't the same land that I grew up and loved, so I moved on. Traveled with some other soldiers for a while. Finally ended up making it right here.
I've heard war changes things. Luckily, I
War
haven't had to face it myself, so.
You're a lucky lad. Stay away from the north. Let's say they love war more than anything else there. But,
You said that you met some of the heroes from that time?
hey, it's I was just a foot soldier at the time, but I remember them rolling through and setting off into hell itself. It was a long time ago. It's a different story. But and Baldwin, he was a great man. Like I said, his son was a bastard. Turned Albrand into what it is today. But that bastard's dead. Who knows what the future's got?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Akron Highbolt. I've heard many great stories about him. Did you ever get a chance to meet him?
He was the pointy-eared fella with the bow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if I remember right, he came through with them. That's Sigrid and Baldwin are the ones that really stick in their mind. But
Know any chance of what happened to him?
as far as I know, he actually set off on his own series of adventures. I think he came here. He was one of the first people to set foot on this land.
Oh, wow.
And so around. Don't know what happened to him. That's whether he's still out and about or if he's met his end. One of those trees you're telling me about.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that. That's if you can avoid running into those, that's what I recommend. They are terrifying.
I plan on sticking a bit closer to town now that I know that kind of shit's out there. I'll fight wolves and bears all day, but trees, I don't hit a tree that can hit me back.
I hear you there. Well, I appreciate you giving the time and talking with me, and hope we see you when we get back.
Welcome. I'll see if I can't dredge up some stories of Akron. They're coming back. It was a long time ago. But
That would be awesome. I'd love to hear more.
no, see what they can do.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. To it. And leave the Giants rest.
Yep.
Relton, Kaya, you guys working on anything through the day?
Not anything specific.
Nope.
And the last thing
Commander
I was going to say, is this the day we're leaving, or is this...
This is the day before you leave.
Okay.
So you got...
At the end of the day, I have something, but that's it.
Okay. Commander Grayson, at a certain point, flags you down. I think it was Grayson. So. Make sure I at least keep my names all correctly. Yep, Commander Grayson. Flags, we'll say you down to Relton, and he gives you some kits.
Oh.
30 sets of rations for you to divvy up. And when you run out, let me know. We'll get you restocked.
Right.
And then just let me know if you need to commission any more equipment. I'll get you set up with what you need. For now, food. It's number one.
That's a good place to start. Thank you, sir.
As your it's back. Two. And if nobody else has anything they want to specifically accomplish, we can move forward to Mike's end of it, whatever, or Raven, whatever you had planned for the end of the day.
Yeah, just when we're all back at the Long Hut, or whatever it's called. So, Relton and I had an interesting moment out there in the woods today. The tablet.
To know about your personal life.
Whoa. Jokes are all well and good, but
Whatever you guys are into, it's fine.
Look,
no.
he'd be lucky to
I
have
can
me.
put up a shelf. I'd crush you.
But the tablet seemed to act on its own. It opened a rift in my bag. So we both thought
You're
that.
back.
What?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Where's your bag?
Oh, I have it. We brought it back, but it just suspended the bag in the air, and I couldn't move with it on, so I had to take it off. And when we opened it up, there was a tiny rift starting.
How'd you get it to close?
Able.
Same way I did before. Shot it with an arrow.
But
Unfortunately, that seems to
cracking
be
the tablet more every time, so
it seems to be something we probably shouldn't continue to do. So we decided it would be best that one of us try to control it. So that's what brings me to this point. I might not be the same person tomorrow. Might be something wrong. If this reacts the same way that it did last time, just know that's the case.
I have pen and paper if you need it.
I hope that speaking is the worst that happens.
Just to lend this to it, because I realize there's a little bit of an ominous effect to what's going on, because as you're kind of talking, describing this, from Kaya's bag, there's just a slow outpouring of fog covering like the bottom inch of the floor. And because there's no like wind, because you're inside, it is just a perpetual inch of fog that covers the floor of your guys' house. And it kind of ripples as you step through and out.
hold on. Can we just put this like in a bowl or something on a counter or the shelving? I like the misty ambiance. Very spooky.
I mean, we could try it. The downfall is it's picked, so I mean, eventually it's going to dry out.
It hasn't stopped shedding mist yet.
It's true.
I mean, unless you're gonna eat it or brew with it or something.
I'd like to, but Tarley made a pretty good point.
What, that it could kill you?
Well, I mean, killing myself is one thing, but killing other people, I'd feel a little bad.
Something you'd like to get into the habit of?
You know, it's not good a habit to have. You know, kind of a bad one.
I'm just saying, if you took a bite right now, we'd know if it would kill people or not. And you'd have misty farts, I'm pretty sure. At least for a day.
Or maybe burps.
Maybe,
Instead
I
of a
mean,
burp.
it's either you die or it's awesome.
We'll figure
Just
it out
find
later.
a rat. Feed it to a rodent.
Yeah,
Misty
we'll
route.
deal with it in a little bit. I mean, if it spoils, it spoils. It is what it is.
Anyways, we've got more pressing matters.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, just be ready for anything tomorrow.
Doesn't it only take you like
Going to...
an hour to get that taken care of, to attune to that?
I'm attuned to it already.
Oh, right, it was on a day delay. That's right. Okay. I'm ready to beat you over the head if you go crazy tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
You guys all go to bed?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all have normal sleep.
That's good.
As you wake up in the morning, don't need to watch, you're in town. Kaya, right before you wake up, just in that kind of like morning delirium, you kind of wake up. You don't see anything. So you're like, oh, I must have woken up in the middle of the night. Fire's out. you see two bright blue eyes just looking down on you, a burning pain in your shoulder, and then you actually wake up. The rest of you are kind of sitting up for the day. Moving. Raven, go ahead and make your wisdom saving throw.
That's a fail.
Okay. And your D100.
54. And I've got it up.
That's great. Give me 1 sec to think about this.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say
after
you'll have to
seeing
decide it.
those
so.
eyes, yeah. So after seeing those eyes, I'm gonna jolt up and obviously stand up and kind of like walk around, look around, and then realizing nothing's there, I kind of grab my shoulder. Is there still like a residual pain there?
That's you touch it and it feels physically cold to your touch. Like it still hurts, and where it feels like your shoulder feels like it was burnt as your hand touches it, it feels ice cold. Raven, you notice him sit up, and you just instinctively reach out and just like grab Orelton on the shoulder. Yeah, just for luck.
Just for luck.
What are we doing?
Is there? Are
pick
you all
up
right,
something
Kia?
down here?
Pick up your hand and like take it off my shoulder.
Just stay close, okay?
Yeah, you got it.
I rolled a 7, by the way, Mike.
Okay.
Oh no.
And I would like you to know, I decided between the person and thing, and I rolled to determine here. So it was perfect how this worked out. Yeah, and Kai, your shoulder, it's still like it's that phantom pain where it just feels like it's still burning, but the cold starts to recede.
Okay.
Do you sleep with your shirt on or shirt off?
Off.
Off. There is like kind of as you pull your hand away, as the cold starts to recede, you realize there's like a dim kind of glow from it where it's that black print.
Hmm.
The dark is like pushing off of it, like it's exuding darkness, and that's kind of
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look a little jumpy, Bar.
I'm always energetic in the morning. Let's chop. Let's get to it.
Uh-huh.
Throw on my little shirt, sleeveless thing, and
throughout the week, one of the things that was constructed for the house is kind of a large drafting table that Corin has set his equipment and everything up on. And he's talked with Raven. Raven, with your background, you can pretty accurately recall features and like landmarks and things like that, to a point that as you return to town, you can relay that to Corin and help him construct more detailed maps of the area without him having to actually go out with you unless you want to bring him with you.
Sounds good.
You guys gear up. Do you have we'll have the week to think about this, but if you as you guys want to think and requisition anything specifically from Tarley, let me know through the week, and I'll let you know if it's something that he's able to get. We'll get you guys re-kitted up from what you lost from the Aegis. Go ahead and level up to level 5.
Oh shit.
woo.
And I will
And-
divvy up those rations that I forgot his name. Grayson gave us.
Yeah, Commander Grayson.
7 per. And I'll
From
keep the
that-
extra 2.
You guys will have your first somewhat undirected just expedition into Aretas with nothing but to explore. And we'll see you next time.
Next time on Easy Dispel.
You see just a dark storm cloud that's hanging. The occasional lightning strike.
Raven.
Yeah.
Do you recall the storm cloud that took down our ship? Does that one look similar?
Yeah, it does actually. And I mean, it seems to be moving about the same speed too. Doesn't seem natural.
Kind of looking back to your left, the woman next to you just goes, "What are you watching for?"
Does every tree have a companion like you?
Not every tree, just ones like this. And she taps the old tree that you lean against. I don't know why Father warned us about you. You seem kind.
I would very much like to meet your father.
I don't think you would. He
Why is
doesn't
that?
he doesn't like your kind very. He hasn't liked your kind for a long time.
I've not been here very long.
You've been here forever. As she gets close to Kaya, she looks down at him, and her eyes kind of grow wide, and she steps away.
Dude, you're invisible.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
I said I was good in the dark.
That's real good, man.
You are kind of gently roused from your sleep. You open your eyes, everything's grayscale. Nothing's there.
Kaya, wake up.
Where are
okay,
you?
Hold on. I know you can't see me. I know this is different. The lights are out. 1 second, and I'm gonna go over and throw a log on the fire.
What the fuck is that?
Look, it's just something I can do at night, okay? In the dark. Anytime it's dark, I'm really good at staying hidden.
It'd be freaking nice to know that beforehand.
Where are you taking me?
Okay, so before we get there, I just need you to hold my hand. So you know how I mentioned I'm really good in the dark?
All right, I'll follow you. Okay.
I will just reach over and touch her hand.
She's gonna pull her hand away, and then reach back out and softly touch. Well, thank you for showing me.
And then you look, and there's actually what seems to be a large statue, almost fully encompassed in vines.
Can you clear his face?
And it clicks. It looks a lot like Raven.